Hello y'all, this is Kaiserredux, a mod for Hearts of Iron 4 that acts as an unofficial standalone expansion for the Kaiserreich mod. Kaiserreich itself takes place in a world where the Central Powers won World War I. In this video, we are going to try to play as the mighty nation of Luxembourg. So to get things started, we are going to play as the Commune of France, and we are going to make sure that the German Revolution is guaranteed to happen by using custom game rules. And now that we have begun, I will point out that Wallonia Luxembourg and Luxembourg proper is owned initially by the German Empire. The Great Berlin stock market crash has occurred. That is going to be bad for the Germans and anyone economically connected to them. With that said, since we're playing as the Commune of France, our economy is going to be just fine. Germany banned the FAUD, or the Free Workers Union of Germany, which is an anarcho-syndicalist trade union. We could go to war over this, but let's choose not to. Members of the Walloon resistance across the border are asking for aid as they might not last for much longer. Let's say we won't help them because that would anger the Germans. The Netherlands joined the Reichspakt. Besides that, they also appear to have Flanders as their puppet. The German Revolution is here. The German Empire has declared war on the German Revolutionary Government. While on this note, the Reichspakt faction, which I was just talking about a second ago, no longer exists. With our rival in turmoil, the Commune of France has successfully seized Alsace-Lorraine, and more importantly, Luxembourg, without a fight. The fate of Luxembourg. This is a very important event. 4 choices are presented to us. What we're going to do is click the one at the top that says Liberate Luxembourg. The nation we want to play as is now a puppet of the Commune of France, and a French general has been sent to lead the provisional government until local elections can be organized. Let's switch to Luxembourg by pressing on the Nous voulons rester ce que nous sommes option. Alright, we are now the Luxembourg Occupation Authority led by Henri Tanguy. We have 2 national spirits, and they are decimated national identity and language question. Our military consists of a single division in the army, and as for commanders, there is definitely a lot more of them than I thought we would have, but hey, at least there is variety. In the folks tree, French occupation is already completed. Now we will do drive out German influence, reestablish a national identity, and new nation, new politics. In the events and decisions tab, we have some special new Luxembourgish industrial revolution and expanding the Luxembourger Army decisions. These decisions will help our industry and military respectively. A crimson dawn for Luxembourg. The Grand Duchy of Luxembourg joined the German Empire following the Treaty of Versailles and a democratic referendum. With its inclusion into the Kaiserreich, it rapidly industrialized, and anti-French rhetoric became more common. This industrialization was a double-edged sword, though, as socialist and democratic socialist ideals became more popular among the masses of factory workers. With the madness of the German Revolution taking place, pro-international militias became a common sight. And as all this commotion happened, the Grand Duchess who led Luxembourg was said to be murdered in an ambush by syndicalist soldiers. Now, with a French occupation force, the country moves closer and closer towards socialism. But with that in mind, there is still Republican resistant groups and monarchist elements said to be lurking around. I'm not sure how, but it looks like a few divisions of the German Empire got stuck in Western Germany, which has forced them to fight against the revolutionary government, while at the same time, they have been cut off from supplies due to their isolated position. In Luxembourg, there is violence on the streets between the French and the Germans. Also, red militias are clashing with reactionary black-shirted militias. Hopefully this will all be over soon once we settle the debates on language, religion, ideology, and ethnicity. We can't complete any more focuses at the moment. I guess we'll just accumulate political power and spend it on decisions. The new legislative body of Luxembourg is meeting to decide the fate of the nation. We are having elections, and only socialist parties were allowed to participate. There are 3 candidates to choose from, and we are going to pick the syndicalist Charles Marx, who is politically in line with traditional French Orthodox syndicalism and has also amassed much of the support of our new Congress. With that over with, Tanguy is gone. We are now called the Commune of Luxembourg, which has its own unique flag. Other than that, Charles Marx is the new country leader, and this shouldn't surprise you based on what I said earlier, but syndicalism is now the ruling party ideology. Marx historically was a doctor and member of the Communist Party of Luxembourg. After initially succeeding in his medical studies in France, he later joined the French resistance in World War II, and ultimately, after the war, he became the Luxembourg Minister for Social Assistance and Public Health. His term will be cut short when he died in 1946 at the age of 42 in a car accident. With the provisional government not really needed anymore because of the solidification of an actual Luxembourgish ruling authority, the French forces have decided to pull out. In a statement, the French general in charge of the occupation states that the nation can stand on its own 2 feet at this point. This proclamation is forgetting or perhaps ignoring the rumors of a growing counter-revolutionary threat. Either way, we are on our own now. While France has made its exit from our country, we have also unlocked more parts of the focus tree. Let's do the focuses: a new Luxembourgish army, a red army, and create the Garde Rouge de Luxembourg. Counter-revolutionary militias are organizing, and all we have standing in their way is the Red Guard, which are little more than militia themselves. We will act fast and crush the reactionaries before they can strike the People's Republic. Order has been restored in the country, and in other news, syndicalism prevails in Ukraine. The Union of Britain, our ally, declared war on the Republic of Ireland. The Irish do control Northern Ireland, so the British are going to have to use a lot of naval invasions to win this conflict. In the Decisions tab, we are completing a decision that will give us a military factory, and while we are here, we will join the Phalanstère International Research Group. Back in the focus tree, let's complete military telecommunications, Luxembourg's Crimson Dawn, Marx's SPL, towards syndicalism through unionism, nationalize the wine industry, language compromise, and win over the masses with healthcare. There are syndicalist revolutionaries in Switzerland, and the British have started landing in Ireland near Dublin and Cork. Ukraine joins the Third International faction, which is what we're a part of, and on top of that, Norway also joined. Our French friends have made us aware that the old Grand Duchess of Luxembourg is not in fact dead. Instead, apparently, they took her as a prisoner. They are going to send her to us, where she will then be put on trial as a traitor to the revolution. Once she is found guilty, she will eventually be executed. Ireland was defeated by the British and became their puppet, and I got to say, that's a very interesting looking leader they have. In Siberia, far away from us, the national populist Russian state is battling with the totalist Far Eastern Republic. Sensing an opportunity, I guess, as their enemy is a little bit preoccupied at the moment, Finland has declared war on Russia. With all of our political focuses done, we can now access the foreign policy part of the focus tree. We're going to do pro-international politics towards a socialist BeNeLux, demand our proletariat's clay, and wrap the Low Countries in red. Luxembourg is pretty small currently, but if all things manage to go right when we complete demand our proletariat's clay, maybe the Commune of France will give us some land. We have got ourselves a means to declare war on Wallonia, Flanders, and the Netherlands in the form of 3 decisions. Luxembourg is going to take on Wallonia first because they share a border with us. Then after that, we can either attack Flanders or the Netherlands, but it won't really matter which one we do pick because ultimately, Flanders in its current form is a Dutch puppet state. The French rejected our demands. We have no choice of beating the Commune of France, so with that said, we are going to have to back down. A war with Wallonia has been started. We only have 6 divisions, and most of them are militia, so we may have to call in backup. The French have been dragged in to help us, and they are carrying the Luxembourg war effort for sure. And besides that, 80% of our army has been destroyed. This conflict is going to be over soon, so we're going to go ahead and start getting prepared to battle Flanders and their Dutch overlord. Wallonia was made into the Belgian Cynical Republic, which at the moment is a subject of France, but we are going to use a decision to try and get them to join us by inviting their country to the BeNeLux Union. That's some rather peculiar news. There has been a nationalist takeover in the Netherlands. Nationalist or no nationalist, Luxembourg is coming for the Dutch regardless. The Belgians accepted our offer of unity and thus we annexed them. We are now one step closer to uniting the Low Countries. The clash with Flanders has begun and they are a puppet of the Netherlands, so they got automatically pulled into a war. And speaking of the Netherlands, our allies have captured Rotterdam, so we are going to send some of our troops up to sneak into the enemy capital. Our opposition fell in battle to Socialism, and now the Flemish Commune and the Batavian Commune are a thing. Not to worry though, because Luxembourg is going to invite both of them to the BeNeLux Union. The two parties accepted our offer, and so we are now going to wrap the Low Countries in red, and that will allow us to fully become the BeNeLux Union. That is finished, our country name has changed, we got a new flag, and the country color is now a nice shade of blue. Luxembourg has grown quite powerful by establishing the BeNeLux Unioun. It is a proud member of the Third Internationale, which due to all of its successes has come to dominate Western Europe. Before the video ends, I want to give a shout out to Liegnitz. If you enjoyed the mod, check it out in the description below. If you enjoyed the video, make sure to like and subscribe. Don't forget to leave a comment because it helps the algorithm recommend the video more. Have an awesome day. I'll see you later. Bye.